Yes, we can.
You little beauty. A little bit of a technical problem. I hope we don't strike that again. Well, Let's Elope's the favourite in the Rupert Steele Stakes in Melbourne, having her first run since the Melbourne Cup, and I know Bart Cummings thinks she'll run a crackerjack race. Let's look at the prices. Number 1, Planet Ruler, trained by David Hayes, getting a little bit older now, is at 20 to 1. Rechabite was scratched this morning. Street Ruffian, Sydney jockey Ron Quinton is aboard Street Ruffian. He's at 25 to 1. Alishan, a stablemate of Planet Ruler, is at 16 to 1. Coolong Road from the Cummings stable is at 30 to 1. Now, I've had a little bit each way on Hewler Grey. Trained here in Sydney by Jeff Mains, a very smart horse, and I think he's great odds at 12 to 1. Prince Ormenium is at 40 to 1. Purple Curse at 16 to 1. Storaya, a bit of a straight track specialist, ridden by Damien Oliver, already ridden the winner down there today. Storaya is about 4.5 to 1, 9 to 2. Vain Sovereign from New Zealand, ridden by Brian Hibbard, who won the Victoria Derby on a previous trip to Melbourne. Vain Sovereign is at 12 to 1. Let's Elope with his Melbourne Cup jockey Stephen King aboard. Might seem short odds in a 1,200 metre race for a horse that's at her best from 2,000 metres and longer, but she's particularly well handicapped under the set weight conditions, and I know a few around the stable are quietly confident. She's a little bit longer priced with bookies, not a lot. She's at 9 to 4. Noble Lancer, Stephen Marshall at 16 to 1. Some give him a good chance. Rare Chance at 33 to 1. Now, T Habit was most impressive last start at Moonee Valley, beating Hewler Grey. The only thing is, was the heavy track that day very much in T Habit's favour? Today, the track's much closer to good, and whether he can go as good on top of the ground in this class remains to be seen. Few people obviously think he can. He's only at 6.5 to 1, perhaps getting out now to about 7 to 1. Desolato is 100 to 1, Natchez at 80 to 1, Tangian Prince at 20 to 1, Cushion, another of the roughies, at 50 to 1. This is down the straight 6 or the straight 1,200 metres. They're about to go. Here's our caller, Johnny Russell.
Standing up quite well. We welcome viewers to Channel 9 Wide World of Sports, taking the first leg of the double here in Melbourne, the Rupert Steele Stakes, named after a former very popular chairman of the VRC for quite some years, Rupert Steele. Now here's Natchez, the last to go in, and it attended up with Let's Elope. And they look to be ready to go. There's the light. Set. All ready for a start. Standing well. Should go soon. Starter holding them. T Habit in 3. They're off now. And Let's Elope jumped out very quickly towards the outside, but beaten for early pace. And over on the inside, Street Ruffian was one of the first to get going from Tangian Prince, and T Habit got away well. And Hewler Grey is also showing plenty of speed, and so is Noble Lancer in behind them, with Storaya being followed by Natchez and Cushion. And a bit further back then over on the outside to Alishan, and Let's Elope's got only 3 behind her as they race down towards the 850, where Noble Lancer's worked his way to the lead by a length and a half. Street Ruffian on the inside of Hewler Grey, and Natchez is close handy, so is Alishan. They were being followed next by T Habit. Storaya's on the outside, Tangian Prince just in behind them, Rare Chance followed by Coolong Road, and then Vain Sovereign. Well back third last is Let's Elope, followed by Prince Ormenium, and Desolato is last of all. They're on the course proper, and Noble Lancer well clear by 2 lengths to Hewler Grey, getting a run on the inside. Tangian Prince followed by Natchez, Alishan, and then Storaya. Let's Elope's a long, long way back as they come to the 200. Noble Lancer is the lead, but here comes Storaya. Storaya on the outside has grabbed the lead, tackled by Tangian Prince, but Storaya burst away in the final stages. It's all over. Let's Elope still well back, but Storaya comes away for a very easy victory. He's down on the post to win it well. Storaya 3 lengths to Tangian Prince. Third home is T Habit, then Noble Lancer, followed by Hewler Grey, and back behind them Purple Curse Cushion, followed next home by Let's Elope, and then Alishan, and further back was Planet Ruler, followed by Natchez and Street Ruffian. Back behind them Rare Chance, Coolong Road, followed by Desolato, Prince Ormenium, and the last home is Vain Sovereign.
On race 5 at Moonee Valley, the Rupert Steele Stakes, 9, 17 and 4. Storaya $5.30 and $1.90. Tangian Prince $6.50. T Habit $2.30. Coming up at 5 to 4 Eastern Time, the 1992 Epsom Handicap over the Magic Mile. Superimposed going for his 3rd straight victory, but Ken Callender says Century Rain can win. Now the Adelaide Australian Rules Grand Final is
Johnny Tapp.
Thank you, Max. A big crowd at Randwick for the running of the Northwest Airlines Epsom Handicap, a great old favourite on the AJC calendar. First run in 1865 and won in the last 2 years by the irrepressible Superimposed. There he is now. An 8-year-old, a magnificent old chestnut gelding with the cleanest legs you've ever seen. You couldn't believe he could race the miles he's raced and have unblemished legs. A remarkable horse, 70 starts, 18 wins, 32 placings, $4.4 million in prize money. Ken Callender is a horse lover and he's a great Superimpose fan, and even though he's not going to back Superimpose today, I know he won't begrudge the big red horse a win.
No, John, I mightn't be the world's greatest sentimentalist where money's concerned, but I'll certainly give Superimpose a big cheer. What a great horse he's been. You know, you talk about great efforts in sport. You know, things like St George winning 11 premierships in a row and Jeff Fennick winning 4 boxing titles. Just as good Superimpose winning 5 big miles at Randwick, and he might just do it. He's got a great chance and he's showing it 4-1 on the tote. Number 1 Superimpose at odds of 4-1. Kinjite, Mick Dittman, a clear-cut favourite, into 9-4 now, a bit wavering between 320 and 330, return for $1 investment. Century Rain, I've tipped him. I think he'll get the run of the race. Don't worry about the jockey, Justin Sheehan. He rides okay. The horse will have his chance, probably settle down 5th or 6th. I think he's got a great hope. He's at 12-1. Big Dreams, Jimmy Cassidy needs a little bit of luck from out towards the outside of the field because the horse has got to be ridden relatively quietly. Big Dreams is a 7-1 chance. Cabora, Kevin Moses, he'll get back, but he'll storm home. He's at 12-1. Paladin looked an absolute picture in the enclosure, just out of fraction, make it 7.5-1, 15-2. A last start winner of the Shannon Quality, and Les Bridge, his trainer, has turned him out an absolute treat. Prince of Praise, the likely pacemaker, he'll certainly be right up there. He's at 30-1, ridden by the young apprentice Aaron Kennedy. Black Rouge, another one who'll be up near the speed. Malcolm Johnston, another roughie, 40-1. Let's hurry. Alf Matthews, I think the pick of the roughies. Alf's from Adelaide and he's come over to ride this mare in the Epsom. She's at 25-1. Skylock, a super chance to be ridden by Super Shane. Shane Dye excels in these big races. If you're watching Wide World of Sport earlier, he said he'll get back near Superimpose, but he'll also charge home strongly. And the horse looks good. He's at 9-1. Destroyer's Image, he'll be in the first 3. He's at 25-1, and Craig Carmody's the jockey. My Diamond Rouge, unfortunately, had a setback and had to be scratched. Silk Ali, one of the roughies, at 50-1. Malcolm Fitzgerald is not riding. He's been replaced on Silk Ali by Morris Logue. Mango's Lunch, the youngest rider in the race, Anthony Baker, an apprentice. He's riding Mango's Lunch, who's now out to 66-1. Southern States, a winner here on Wednesday over 1,200 metres in much easier company, to be ridden by Matthew Pravado. He'll be up there, but he might find running the solid 1,600 metres a bit much. He's at 66-1. There's Big Dreams just going out of picture and leaving the champ Superimpose in picture, John.
Yes, Ken, the presentation just concluding after the previous race, the Flight Stakes, after which there was a minor protest, 4th against 3rd. That's the reason the presentation was so late getting started. But by gee, I don't think I've ever seen one cut any finer than that. They're actually moving in for the Epsom, and the speeches were still in progress, and also the appearance of Elle Macpherson at Randwick today in conjunction with the Grace Brothers Fashion Stakes also put them behind the 8 ball. They seem to have crammed an enormous amount of pomp and ceremony into Epsom Day 1992. Look at the old fella. Go Super. I believe Darren Beedman, who has ridden Superimpose in 3 of his 4 major wins, actually telephoned Chris Muntz from Hong Kong last night and had a long talk with little Chris, who's riding the horse in the big one today. Now, Palatine is the horse, that's Big Dreams, number 4 saddlecloth, but in the South Sydney colours is Palatine, trained by Les Bridge, and that's no coincidence, the South Sydney colours, because Les, for many years, has been an absolute desperate Rabbitoh fan. Now, is Palatine going in? Palatine moves up with Larry Olsen on board. Superimpose follows him forward. Mango's Lunch still out, and Big Dreams looks like being the last up. They took a while to get Skylock in. That horse looked to be a little stirred up, but Skylock has moved up now. There's Big Dreams linking in, and that leaves only Mango's Lunch, and they'll be all set and ready for dispatch. Mango's Lunch is trained by Bart Cummings and is at a long quote, as Ken pointed out, 66 on the win tote. Now, starter Bill Cooper over to his stand. Silk Ali, the inside runner, off and running in the Northwest Airlines Epsom. A great start, superimposed straight out the back. And Prince of Praise led early, taken on by the little fellow Black Rouge, who's going to lead them. Silk Ali began smartly, followed by Southern States, and then Cabora, Destroyer's Image, Sensory Rain, Kinjite running about 8th when they settle. Palatina's midfield, the field spreading out in the early stages. Well back as Mango's Lunch, followed by Let's Hurry and Skylock. And the last couple superimpose, and Big Dreams is back at the tail of the field. Around the first turn, and Prince of Praise took over to lead from Black Rouge and Destroyer's Image on the outside, followed by Silk Ali, and travelling a bit wide, Southern States. A length and a half to Cabora, followed closely by Sensory Rain, and Kinjite getting a lovely run between horses. 2.5 to Palatin, about 3 to Skylock, and then Big Dream superimposed, starting a forward move now. Dropping out second last as Mango's Lunch, and Let's Hurry as last as the Epsom field races down the side. 700 metres out, Prince of Praise led over Black Rouge, Destroyer's Image, followed closely on the fence by Silk Ali, and then Southern States, followed by Cabora. Kinjite being scrubbed hard by Dittman as they near the turn. Sensory Rain is under pressure, and then Palatin, followed by Skylock, and superimpose in front of about 3, but is now switched to the outside by Chris Muntz as they come over the rise. He's got some hope. Superimpose as they top the hill. Prince of Praise still in front. Here's Kinjite claiming him now, followed by Southern States, Palatin, and superimpose right down the outside. Kinjite hit the lead in the Epsom. Kinjite in front of Prince of Praise, followed by Palatin. Superimpose feeling the big weight, but Kinjite, he's been a bridesmaid, but he's home today. Kinjite wins the Epsom over Prince of Praise, Palatin third, 4th Superimpose, 5th is Southern States, and 6th is Sensory Rain. Then Mango's Lunch, Let's Hurry, Big Dreams, followed by Destroyer's Image, well back Silk Ali, and then Cabora, followed by Black Rouge, and Skylock is absolute last to finish in the Northwest Airlines Epsom of 1992.
Sports, Kamala the Giant and the Undertaker.
Now from the update desk, those dividends on the Epsom handicap at Randwick. Kinjite was the winner, 2, 7 and 6. The numbers, Kinjite $3.20 and $1.50. Prince of Praise $7.90 and Palatin $2.70. At 4.25 race 7 at Flemington, the Turnbull Stakes should be a guide to the big races ahead over the next month. It's 5 Naturalism to win. And it seems the race...
Stakes. Here's Kenny Callender.
Thanks very much, Ken. Yeah, well, I reckon Naturalism will kick his brains in. I hope he does, because I've got my cash on Naturalism. He's only at even money, 10 to 9 on, but if he gets the cash, I won't go crook. Let's look at the prices. My Eagle Eye, the New Zealand star, is at 12 to 1. Greg Hall is in the saddle. Grooming, better off in a handicap than in a weight for age race. Ronnie Quinton riding him at 25 to 1. Fleet Dancer is at 100 to 1 and London Bridge at 50 to 1. Naturalism, now these are the early Victorian TAB prices. If you have $1 on Naturalism, you get $1.80 back. So it's 5 to 4 on. And that's what the red colouring indicates. It's odds on. You actually win less than your stake, but of course you get your stake back as well. Heroicity at 14 to 1. Star of the Realm, the second favourite, Stephen King. It probably does look a match in 2. Star of the Realm is at 2.5 to 1 or 5 to 2. Mr. Eurostar, Wayne Trelaw, is at 50 to 1. Valdano is at 100 to 1, notwithstanding at 15 to 1. Conchana is a scratching. My Brilliant Star, who came to Sydney at Easter and won the AJC Oaks for 3-year-old fillies, she's going pretty good, but she'll find this pretty tough. She's at 16 to 1 and ridden by young P. Hutchinson. Ramyar, Craig Dinn, is at 25 to 1. You can see the horses going in here. Simon Marshall riding Naturalism today, but only keeping the saddle warm for Mick Dittman, who'll ride him in the big races. Mick, of course, was required here at Randwick today to win the Epsom on Kinjite. Here's John Russell in Melbourne.
Naturalism moving in. My Brilliant Star is the inside runner. And they're set to go. Stand by for a start. Lights on. They're off now. And My Brilliant Star was one of the first to jump out, was quickly headed by Ramyar, getting away very quickly on the outside. My Eagle Eye and Heroicity is just behind them as they sort themselves out, being followed by Naturalism, who's over on the outside of London Bridge, followed by Valdano. Dropping in behind them, Mr. Eurostar on the inside of Star of the Realm, a length and a half to Grooming, who's third last with Fleet Dancer. and Notwithstanding has dropped out to last. 1,600 metres left to go now. Ramier takes the lead by a length to Heroicity. A length and a half further back is My Eagle Eye. 2 lengths to My Brilliant Star, who's on the inside of Naturalism. They're followed closely by London Bridge, a couple of lengths away. Mr. Eurostar on the inside of Valdano, and further back to Star of the Realm, who's got only 3 behind him. And they are grooming Fleet Dancer and Notwithstanding. Along the back, they race up towards the 1,300 metre mark, and Ramier doing it well. Led by a length to Heroicity second. A length and a half further back in the box seat is My Brilliant Star, followed by My Eagle Eye. 2 lengths away, Naturalism on the outside of London Bridge. A length and a half further back to Mr. Eurostar. Valdano going forward next to the head of the others, followed by Fleet Dancer. Still well back as Star of the Realm, third last. Grooming second last, and Notwithstanding last of all. 900 metres out, and moving up on the outside. Heroicity's gone fast to take the lead from Ramier as they come up in the direction of the home turner. My Eagle 9 now third at the 800 metre mark, followed by My Brilliant Star. Naturalism coming into the picture, and they were followed next over on the inside by London Bridge, followed by Valdano. Fleet Dancer, Star of the Realm still a long way back, and he was followed by Mr. Eurostar, and wide on the track Notwithstanding, and grooming last of all as they straighten up with about 500 to go. Again, Ramier moving up on the inside to join Heroicity. They're out by 2 lengths to My Eagle Eye. Naturalism is down the outside, running on well, being followed by My Brilliant Star. A long, long way back as Star of the Realm. 300 metres out, and here comes Naturalism. Naturalism has taken the lead from Heroicity, coming to the 200 in third place. My Eagle Eye, followed by London Bridge. Star of the Realm a long way back, but it's all Naturalism in the final stages. He's going to bolt in, Naturalism, and Naturalism raced home to a great win. Naturalism was won by 3 lengths. London Bridge second, getting up for third, maybe Mr. Eurostar just ahead of Heroicity and Valdano, and further back to My Eagle Eye, followed by Star of the Realm, Notwithstanding and grooming. Fleet Dancer, My Brilliant Star, and the last home is Ramier.
You put your hand on your head.
Race 7 at Flemington, numbers 5, 4 and 8. Naturalism, $1.90. You saw them there. There's Ken's tips for you. Number 1, Donegal Mist for Randwick Race 7. The Craven Plate, B. York is the jockey. Now, at the Revesby Workers Club in Sydney today, but a bit too much for me, Ken.
You leave me with nothing to say, Bear. Race 7 at Randwick is the Craven Plate. Here is John Tapp.
Good on you, Ken. The Craven Plate is race 7, an interesting race, and a number of the Sydney Cup candidates are in this. This little fellow's not in the Metropolitan, rather, not the Sydney Cup. Telesto, he's a tiny little horse. There's no shadow of doubt he is the smallest runner in the field. He's got a light weight under the weight for age conditions and will be ridden by Matty Privato. Ken, in crossing down to you, apart from commenting on the size of Telesto, Skylock, which ran a distant last in the Epsom Handicap, apparently bled during the running of the race. Commiserations to trainer Guy Walter and his owners.
Yes, John, that obviously explains why Skylock ran so poorly. You talk about how small Telesto is. I call him Alfie Langer. If he's as good as Alfie Langer, he'll certainly win the Craven Plate. So far, he's still a maiden. Let's look at the prices. Number 1, Donegal Mist. He's my selection. He's at 7 to 2. Lord Revenue is a scratching. Equidity is at 8 to 1. Cross Swords at 9 to 1. Number 5, Alphabel, is at 33 to 1. Procyon, number 6, pretty good odds. It's 50 to 1. My Arctic Blue seems rather short, only at 5 to 1, 11 to 2, that's 5.5 to 1. Barnya Boy at 25 to 1. Captain Cook still at 8 to 1, might come in a fraction to about 7.5 to 1. Embassy Square is at 11 to 1, getting out to 12 to 1. Regal Sea is a scratching, and Telesto, the little fellow we spoke of, he's the one the punters want. He's 2s into 7 to 4. Actually, he's come in another fraction, and he's now showing $2.70. Return for $1 investment. That's 1.7 to 1, just under 7 to 4. He is a little fellow, John, but punters seem to think that won't worry him.
Well, you know, they say, Ken, good things come in little parcels, and Telesto certainly looks like taking a hand in the finish here. His Cross Swords, he's one of Jack and Bob Ingham's huge team of horses trained at Warwick Farm. I notice he's wearing a tape just below the off hock, and he looks to be taped on all 4 fetlock joints, so he's got a few metres of bandage on there. That tape below the hock, the highest of the tapes you can see, is generally a precaution against a habit that horses have, some horses have, called speedy cutting. They can chop themselves about pretty badly when they're in full flight, and he obviously does a little bit of that, and that tape would be there mainly as a precaution. Cross Swords has moved in, and they're all set. Ready to break, off in the Craven Plate. Captain Cook from the inside is hustled out of the gate. Donegal Mist began well, and so did Barnia Boy and Equidity, My Arctic Blue, Embassy Square. Telesto dropping back a little worse than midfield, followed by Procyon and Alpha Bell, and Cross Swords last in the run to the first turn. Captain Cook retained the pole running and led by a half to Equidity. Running third on the fence, Donegal Mist on the inside of Barnia Boy, who's racing fiercely. Embassy Square 3 deep to the back, followed by My Arctic Blue on the outside of Procyon. 2.5 to Telesto and a half to Cross Swords on the fence, and 2 away last is Alpha Bell. In the back stretch to the 1400 mark, and Captain Cook is the leader. In front by a length and a quarter to Equidity, and a half away Donegal Mist. Embassy Square next. Barnia Boy between horses has raced pretty hard from the outset, followed by Procyon. A length away My Arctic Blue, and then Cross Swords and Telesto, and a length and a half last is Alpha Bell in the run to the top turn. They're going at a nice brisk pace, and Captain Cook in front by a length and a half to Equidity. Donegal Mist is third, hugging the fence, followed by Embassy Square. Barnia Boy in the middle, a length away Procyon, a neck to My Arctic Blue, followed by Cross Swords, who's pulling a bit now, and then Telesto, and 2.5 away Alpha Bell as they come over the crossing at the 800 mark. They've slowed up a little bit, if anything. It's Captain Cook, the leader, from Equidity and Embassy Square. Donegal Mist enjoying a perfect run on the fence. Barnia Boy is now being pushed along. Then Procyon, My Arctic Blue, followed by Cross Swords, Telesto, and last Alpha Bell as they near the turn. Into the straight, Captain Cook in front by a length to Equidity, who's flat to the boards. Donegal Mist trying to get off the fence. Then Barnia Boy and Embassy Square. Procyon sneaking along the rail as they turn for home, and then My Arctic Blue, and Telesto is now pulled to the extreme outside as they come over the rise, and Bravado says go. On top of the hill now, it's Captain Cook in front with Peacock sitting still from Equidity, Donegal Mist, and the little fella Telesto coming right down the middle of the track. Captain Cook being tackled by Telesto on the extreme outside. He's built like Alfie Langer, Telesto, but the little fella goes for home, and Telesto raced away to beat Donegal Mist. Captain Cook third in front of Equidity, then Cross Swords, followed by Embassy Square, My Arctic Blue, Procyon, well back in the field. In fact, tailed off last is Barnia Boy, and Alpha Bell is finished in the middle of the field.
At Randwick 12.1 and 9, Telesto $2.80 and $1.50, Donegal Mist $1.70, and Captain Cook $2.70. The Los Angeles